today has kind of rekindled the DeShaun Watson trade rumors. The Dolphins seem to be gung-ho about it. I think they're the wrong team. I personally think Carolina should ship sail on Sam Darnold. They're not that far away from being a really good football team. DeShaun Watson takes them from Tampa Bay back up to, I think, Super Bowl contender with the addition of Gilmore and everything else they've got going on right now in Carolina. McCaffrey can stay healthy. But do we think Watson actually goes to Miami, or is this just another blimp in the radar of the Deshaun Watson drama we've had for about 18 months?
Honestly, I think it's to me, a blip in the radar because there's still so many unanswered questions. The questions that you have to answer are still legal and with the league. And if a team like Carolina, if a team like Miami, which I understand why Miami might, it'll be a slap in the face to Tua for sure. But that coaching staff in Miami, I think, has enough data points to maybe start to second.
Right now.
Tua is that guy. I'm not positive if they're willing to pull on it just yet because it's going to be a haul, and we all heard the reports about what they think will be the asking price, and it's steep. And if you're going to do that, which the Panthers, to your point, Tyler, the Panthers to me seem like a team that they're ready to go for it. They did it with Sam Darnold, and I think that they have kind of got those questions answered. I think he's a better fit right now in Miami with the talent Miami's got in and around him. But Carolina is a really interesting proposition, and it's a team that's ready to go in a division that obviously once the greatest of all time leaves, it's going to be a division. I think that'll be open for the next, 7 to 10 years. So I honestly think it's really interesting. But to me, anytime the Deshaun stuff kicks up, the very first thing I do is put yourself in the general manager's shoes. Do you give up a haul for a guy that you don't know his future? Now, if you start to entertain those talks, then those GMs know more than they're saying. I think that they all do, obviously. But they know that maybe some of this will be settled out of court. Maybe some of this will be all civil, and he'll be able to play football once again. That part I'm unsure of. It'll be interesting to see the teams that pursue him. If you take a look at all these message boards, there's so many teams that have been interested. Miami was interested. Apparently the New England Patriots are interested. There'll be a lot of them out there. I think the Carolina Panthers had the owner that would do it. They have the GM that would do it. We'll see if it actually does.
They gave up too much for Sam Darnold. They're not going to give up on Sam Darnold right now. And by the way, Miami has the picks, like Carl says. If Miami wants him, Miami will get him. And I don't believe they believe in Tua. I really don't. I think that even though Tua had a very good game coming back, he had over 300 yards. He actually played probably his best game of the season before he got hurt. So I still don't believe they believe in Miami. I know you don't like them, but I don't think they believe in Tua over there in Miami. To win a championship, to win a Super Bowl, you need an elite defense. And you need a quarterback that can make the throws in the important parts of the game. I don't believe Tua could do that, and that's why I think Tua is not going to be the guy. I do believe he wants to be in Miami. It's not going to be with the Broncos because, like Jeff said, if Bezos actually buys the Broncos, which he's interested, that's where Aaron Rodgers is probably going. Right. So,
can he buy the Jets?
Hey, what about Pittsburgh? You saw that look he and Tomlin had a couple weeks ago?
Oh, God. I told you guys what I thought about Mike Tomlin. He signed a 3-year deal. I never thought that Mike Tomlin was going to live out this deal. I think Mike Tomlin...
Maybe they'll leave their teams together.
I don't know, but I'm going to tell you right now that the team to really watch this year is Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. This defense is for real. This defense is legit. And Lamar Jackson doesn't even have to play at the top of his game to win. You saw that last week against a very good Chargers team that I think is very good, dominantly defensive team, and they can make every single throw with Justin Herbert. And you saw Lamar Jackson didn't have a great game, and Justin Herbert got killed. But all in all, when Lamar Jackson needed to make the throws and he needed to make the plays, he made the plays. And Speedy, you were completely wrong. You thought it was double digits.
Yep,
it was double digits for the other team.
Yep.
The Baltimore Ravens are the real deal. And I'm telling you right now, watch out AFC, because if this team plays the way they're playing right now, and I want to know your guys' opinion, this team could absolutely this year go all the way and win a Super Bowl.
Do you want to take that, Gerard?
Yeah, okay, I'll take it. And the thing is that I do like this Ravens team, but it does give me pause. They lost so many running backs, and do you find a team that's got a good enough defense to just make this team face a bunch of third and longs? That's why I don't trust this team as much as I even trust the Chiefs right now. Now, they're playing very well, but keep in mind, they're a couple of plays from losing to the Detroit Lions. They've already lost to the Raiders. The
Raiders are a good team. Could you stop?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. But
no Jon Gruden.
They probably should have lost to the Indianapolis Colts on Monday night. Let's just say they lose to the Lions, and they already lost. They already at that point had lost to the Raiders. They're 2-2. Do we see that team the exact same way as we see them now? Now, of course, they did what they needed to do on the field to win those games. So I'll take nothing away from them on that. I just think that we're overinflating them a little bit. Arrow, you started this conversation with the Dallas Cowboys. I think the Cowboys look like a good team. Their record shows like a good team, and they're playing like a good team. To me, the Ravens' record makes them look like a good team. It makes them look like a great team. I think that they're a very good team, but beat them.
Oh, hold on. The Cowboys, I think the Baltimore Ravens have played better teams so far this year. And the Cowboys, they play in one of the worst divisions in football. Okay? So there's a difference there. When you look at Baltimore, they got to play Cleveland twice. They got to play Pittsburgh twice. They got to play Cincinnati, who's a good team, twice.
There's an easy tiebreaker to decide which team is better, the Ravens or the Cowboys, right? Ask these two guys how many players from Alabama are on each squad.
How'd you get in there? You got both of us on now, so it's a perfect time.
I'll only hype up Auburn guys. There's not as many of them in the league as there are Alabama guys, but I only hype up the Auburn guys.
I think it's funny about Miami because I'm watching Miami play. They had that week 1 win over New England. And if you remember, like Brian Flores, when he took over the job, if you remember the first couple games, the Miami lost by 100 points or 150 points. Their point differential was insane the first 3 games of, I think, 2019. Yeah. And then they kind of turned it around at the end of the year. They looked a lot better than anyone thought they would. Then last year, their defense plays really good. It looks like now they have the draft picks. They have a lot of draft capital for the next couple of years. They're on the right page, and everybody loved Flores. I thought Flores did a great job those first 2 years. Now you look at them; they're 1-5. They lose to Jaguars team, and it seems like a lot of the things that went right those last 2 years aren't going right now. I agree with you, Errol. Tua was who he was at Alabama, but the one thing I had worried about with Tua is his ability to stay healthy, and he still hasn't shown the ability to stay healthy. You never know when he's going to get hurt. As far as what Gerhard said about Baltimore, the Lions just happens. The Lions just find creative ways to lose. It's amazing. The next week against Minnesota is like the same thing. It's just like it never ends for them, okay? But, I mean, that's true. I mean, the Lions have not won a game, and I thought they played Baltimore really well. And that could be just, they got up for that game because they got their butt kicked, last week by a very mediocre, as opposed to Baltimore Bengals team. So week to week, you just don't know what's going to happen in the NFL. But I would say a team I really like in the AFC, and if you can believe it, they lost to the Jets, but I still think Tennessee is pretty good.
I got them going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they have a very good running game, and their division stinks. Their division stinks, so they should run right through.
If they can get fully healthy, and I'll say this again, if Tennessee could get fully healthy, and this defense even plays half as well as they did last year, even half, I think Tennessee could absolutely go to the Super Bowl. I'm not trusting Ryan Tannehill in the big game, but with Derrick Henry beasting and running the ball, what wins and what gets you into the Super Bowl? And we've seen this over and over again. Good running teams that can control the clock and good defenses. And
remind me again. Who's the running back for Tennessee?
Derrick Henry, yes. Alabama guy.
Yeah, here's one to make their heads explode. Ask them who's more important to that team, Julio Jones or Derrick Henry. That might give them heart attacks.
He can't choose.
Jeff, don't forget about Rashaan Evans too.
I'm gonna send Mark straight into a seizure trying to decide that one.
That's pretty funny. Carl wants me to ask you guys, ask Mark, how is Zaven Collins doing? Do you think he's Rookie Defensive Player of the Year right now?
I don't even know who he's talking about. I guess go ahead. I've spent so much time researching Alexandria and Leeds and so many of the Alabama high school football teams.
No, I understand. He was drafted by Arizona's 16th pick right after Mac Jones, and Jeff has been talking highly over him. He thinks he was the best player to come out of this draft.
The UAB guy,
I didn't
right?
say that. That wasn't the question. The question was, who's a sleeper in the draft that I liked the most? That was the question.
Was that the UAB linebacker?
Tulsa.
Okay.
The Golden Hurricanes, put some respect on them.
Sorry.
Gotta love the single Golden Hurricane.
I'm thinking he went to Ohatchee.
And not for nothing, he's not. Zaven Collins isn't even the reason for Arizona's success.
No.
It's former Alabama safety Deontay Johnson.
Jeff. He's so getting back to the NFL. He's crazy, man. I love him. He's crazy. The Rams. Looking at this Rams team, they're pretty stacked. They can run the ball. When Henderson's on the field, he's fantastic. They can throw the ball. They've played up some duds this year, and there are some games that I believe everybody thought that this team was going to be as dominant as the Arizona Cardinals and the Baltimore Ravens and some of these good teams. What are your thoughts to the Rams? Do you think the Rams are the real deal this year? I don't. I'm not going to trust Sean McVay. I've seen enough of Sean McVay in the playoffs to say that I don't know if he can get the job done. I don't like the Kyle Shanahan offense. I'm a Jet fan. I'm not too ecstatic of watching Kyle Shanahan's offense. Okay, I'm just not. I'm not a big fan of it. But what are your thoughts to Sean McVay and this Rams team?
I'll start here. I think Sean. I kind of disagree with you because I had this team pick number 2 behind Arizona, and to me, Matt Stafford is that piece that they needed to put them over the top. And I think it's so far proving itself out right. It hasn't been the greatest. And I think the media kind of gives it way too much chummy love. And we do this thing with the LA Rams. We do with the Lakers. We do with the Dodgers, all these LA teams. We hype them up on the front end, and then they're not always as good as they think that they are and as the media kind of probably wants them to be. But to me, I think obviously Matt Stafford is a better quarterback than Jared Goff outside of that game against Arizona, which is why, in my opinion, Arizona's better. This, to me, is a team that plays very, very well because they have outside threats, deep threats that can go get it just about every time. Now, you were limited a little bit with Goff. I do think that the media has slurped up McVay to a nauseating point to where I don't think that he's as good as maybe everybody thinks. Like you said, Era, like you're tired of him. You're tired of the narrative of him being this great mind and whatnot. Mm-hmm. I kind of am too, but I'm not willing to put him lower than the upper echelon of coaches in his league. I still think he's one of the better coaches paired up with a really, really good quarterback. We will see the way. Obviously, these divisions games they'll play each other out. So we'll get some finality on it in the hardest division. I think the toughest division in this conference or in the NFL.
Yeah, and the other thing you got to know about Stafford is he has the most passing yards without ever winning division, without ever winning a playoff game, and he could do both this year. And I think that's why they got him. If you look at how he played in Detroit, he's among the leaders for fourth quarter comebacks in the last 10 years, and you wouldn't think so playing for the Lions. But the Lions, it shows you how cursed of an organization they really are, when in fact that they have someone as valuable as Stafford, and they still couldn't win.